We are reviewing games from not the London Open. Here in the first round, Xiao Yiching, 7 dan, plays against Lucretiu Carlota. One Joseki on the right side, then the next Joseki on the left side, and here black goes through. It's also possible to simply capture the stone of white on the bottom, and this variation some players will like more because it avoids any complications. This is another option, after which there is a cutting point in white shape and black uses this cut immediately. So now the complications start. After black extended, black puts pressure on these stones of white. So a usual way to deal with it would be to add a move. For example, here, maybe further, if white is not afraid of black going in. However, white doesn't really need to be afraid of it, because this move of white can be called white center. Black needs to answer from the corner, and then white can strengthen the shape. Just to make sure white can start from this move, this exchange doesn't change much for the corner. Anyway, black can capture white stone on the second line and then play on the side. In the actual game, white captured the stone from the other side, which is a little bit risky because it pushed black to capture that stone on the bottom, which in turn made that group even weaker. So better to not do it. Better to keep it for later. Keep for later the decision whether we prefer to capture this stone because we need to strengthen our group on the left side, or maybe we rather prefer to connect this stone and let black capture. Although it's not looking nice, maybe better to start a Koh one day if white really wants to play from the bottom. Anyway, white captured this stone and then strengthened the shape with the jump. Where should black play next? I thought that black will play something from these two stones, maybe here, or maybe rather to the other side if white answers. Then perhaps black has some power which can be used to attack white's group on the bottom. But black starts with this move, putting pressure on white's group without strengthening the two stones before. So white took this opportunity to start an attack on these two stones. So what white chooses here is a famous technique how to attack a group. We play a move which leans on another stone of the opponent, and when our opponent answers our move, we get strength, which will in turn put a lot of pressure on the stones which we really want to attack. So this was well played by white. Then white jumped. However, this move left a weakness in white's shape, and perhaps white didn't expect such a counter by black. What can white do here? For example, if white plays from the top, a usual way to answer a clamp after a shoulder hit and jump, then we would be quite happy if black follows with the usual way, because it would only mean that white strengthened all the shape and the stones on the other side got very weak. But black has obviously other options. Black can, for example, connect here. And then how to continue? White can block, but then white gets cut. And now it already starts looking quite risky for white. Perhaps white can still make life on the bottom, but white is already split. Other option might be to go down, but then again black goes through and white will end up split. Maybe black plays here and white has no way to connect all the stones. So instead of playing that move, white descended and then black goes through, and even though black doesn't manage to cut white stones, black gets this additional stone added to his wall. And moreover, there are two weak points in white's shape. So later, if black wants, black might try going through. How will it end? A bit difficult to say. This will be a fierce fight. Not sure if black wants such a variation, but there is an agi. If black wants, black can go through and split white stones. And here the cut at A is also a problem for white. White cannot capture this stone in a ladder. Black's next move is already an Atari, so white basically needs to answer from the other side. But for now, black didn't want to simply cut off white stone because it would mean that the other two stones get lost, get sacrificed. Instead, black pulls those stones out. So black builds a group, but on the other hand, the agi of the cutting point is gone, and also on the other side, white had time to strengthen the shape. So it's debatable whether this was a good choice, but maybe indeed simply playing like this would be a bit slack by black. And also we didn't want to just leave the agi without any move, because if white adds a move, then perhaps all white's problems get resolved in a simple way. So black chose to build a group. And the next move of black was quite interesting. We would all expect some continuation here, but now black played this Atari. And what's the meaning of this move? It seems that white just needs to connect, and that's it. But black has a plan here. Black can push through. White wants to capture, otherwise white gets split. And then black pushes again and cuts. And now white has no way to save the stones on the bottom. White can use this cut, yes, but the stones on the bottom are dead, and the white's compensation, building a group on the right side, is not really satisfactory. Black made life with that group, which black has just created, and got a lot of points in the meantime. So this looks very risky for white. In fact, white has another way to deal with this situation. When black pushes, playing this Atari, white should not connect and then just die with all the stones. White can play the crosscut now. And this is the best choice. If black answers, then already it's possible for white to connect and make life with the stones. So it's a compromise. On the other hand, if black continues by capturing the 3 stones, then white's compensation is already much better, because these stones are not split from the other stones of white, and now the 4 stones of black are a bit thin. So this was an option to consider, but it's also understandable to not want to let our opponent just make life with their group. So white chose another move. White connected here. But this is very, very painful. Now there is no cutting point in black's shape, unlike after this move, which means that black's wall became super strong. Now it will be very easy for black to create a big territory on the bottom, because there are no agi in black's shape. So black made this exchange, and certainly this exchange is profitable for black. So then black continues building the group. A few moves were played, and then where should be the next move of white? I would expect a knight's move. We don't like to push from behind too many times, but sometimes it is needed. For example, now we cannot yet stop pushing from behind because there is an obvious cutting point in our shape. So we push once, and now we would like to stop pushing from behind, but still the agi in white's shape is quite painful. Now white kind of needs to play Atari from this side, pushing black out, because if white does not do it, then black's move is Atari, it is center, and white ends up with an empty triangle, bad shape. So it seems that the next push is also necessary, but right now it becomes already possible to avoid further pushing. And we avoid further pushing usually by playing a knight's move. Now, if black cuts, then white has many more options. Unfortunately, the ladder does not work. Yeah, and the net also does not work for white. But still, there are more options. For example, white can jump here, and this is already creating a better shape than here, when we would be pushing black out and black would be very satisfied. This would be certainly a reasonable move, but white found another very large move on this board. White captured this stone. This looks very steady. Maybe one could call it slow, especially if one remembers that white already spent a move at A and now spends a move at B. So white used really 8 stones to capture 1 stone of black. That's not really efficient. However, this move is indeed very, very big. When white captures this stone, then white's group becomes completely solid. It can basically be called alive. It has one eye here and another eye very easily there. And moreover, if black played there instead, then black would be super, 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 super solid. And after white's move, the edge in black's shape appears anew. So, yes, probably this was the largest move on the board. Now black has a chance to turn in the center, but black didn't even do it. Now that white captured the stone on the bottom, black also felt that the bottom side is especially important. However, black didn't want to simply add a move like that. Problem with this move is that it doesn't fix the agi in black's shape. And if black is forced to give up the stone, then black would end up with an over-concentrated shape. But black also didn't want to just strengthen the shape with a move like this. This would feel a bit slow. White can further jump, and yeah, black doesn't take so many points on the bottom. Well, it's 30 points, and that's it. Black wants to play a bit more efficiently and chooses this move. A common technique to build a wall leaning on a 2-space extension of the opponent. We play this shoulder hit, and when our opponent answers, we play the attachment. So now, when white plays a hane, this hane is actually a wedge, and black can play an atari on the stone of white and connect. Black gets a very strong shape on the outside. A more elementary technique would be to simply start with an attachment, but then when our opponent plays hane, we don't have such a good continuation. If we play here, it's not an atari. Now white can simply extend. White doesn't need to pull back in a so frightened way as in the game. So this is a tesuji. First play the shoulder hit and then attach. White wedged and connected. Well, it's important to play here, otherwise black gets these moves and white probably needs to add a stone. Otherwise, white might lose the stone at B after black's cut. So this is a common way of play for white, but black gets a solid shape on the outside. And now, if white cuts off the stone on the bottom, black is already not afraid of it. Black is not over-concentrated. On the contrary, black builds a box in a very efficient manner. There are 2 walls not too close to each other, and black gets really a lot of points out of it. Easily 35 up to here, and then still 10 more points in the corner. This was a good idea by black, and maybe white should have countered it somehow, but it's very difficult. If we jump out, black splits our stones, and yeah, white can build a group on the bottom. Maybe this group can manage, but the stone on the other side is still thin. However, this group of black can also be called thin. So it's a complicated variation, but maybe it's the best choice for white. Like this, black is also under attack. But in the game, it seems that white played a little bit passive, and now black's position looks very, very good. So white didn't want to agree on black getting such a big box on the bottom and invaded. But this is not the perfect spot for invasion. Where is the weakness of black's shape? A tesuji is a double knight's move on the second line. This move is very difficult to answer for black. If black simply connects solidly, then white is certainly satisfied with this exchange. Second line is not bad when we are trying to make a base. We can continue, for example, with this move. If black tries to take away the base, maybe we start to run out. Then if black plays this move to make white base smaller on the second line, then white can go up in center. So maybe it's even better for white. And then on the other hand, if black plays from the top, then white pushes in, again threatening to cut off black's stone. So black needs to answer. And white plays Hane from the other side. And here we can see that white threatens a connection to the other group of white. So black needs to add a move. And it seems relatively easy now for white to build a base. So perhaps the best move of black is just this solid connection. But if white can force such an exchange, then white will be satisfied with it. Black can also consider just sacrificing one stone. But this is certainly much worse for black than if white started with the cut and black had this chance to seal white with these two moves. So this would be a Tesuji, and the move of white was not as powerful. Black answered, and yes, white can continue and get a few useful stones. So white can surely continue creating a group. Probably it won't be as successful as with the other move. Now white tries to go out with this large knight's move. Looks like a good play, but black had no mercy at this point, and black found a really beautiful Tesuji to split white stones. White didn't want to just answer by an empty triangle connection, agreeing on black getting a useful stone on the outside. So instead, white went through, which was useful for that group of white, but it only gave black stones, which put additional pressure on white's group on the bottom. So maybe this was not the right choice. Maybe white was forced to connect solidly and then try to run. But white played like this, and then still tries to go out, and then black found this Tesuji to split white stones. There was no good answer to this move of black. White tried to somehow build a shape, but there is no chance for white to connect the stones. White is split, which means that probably white cannot play like this. Maybe white needs to add a move on the bottom. For now, it is possible for black to capture the stone on the outside, but it is not that scary, because white's group is anyway alive after white captured the stone on the bottom. So white can certainly continue on the bottom side, building another group. So if white now plays a move on the bottom, for example, this one is a vital point of black's shape, maybe there are better chances for running out with the group. This was the final mistake of white in this game, after which black found this beautiful Tesuji to split white stones. And now white tried to make life with the group, but did not manage. This shape is unfortunately for white dead. If white plays here, then we can easily see that there is no room for two eyes. If white starts with this move, then black can simply push in and then hit the vital point, and again white doesn't have space for two eyes. White can start with this move, but it won't change anything. Again, not enough space for two eyes. And even this move cannot provoke a call, because black can answer like this, and then that clamp kills white. So this is a very bad news for white, because black managed to get a big territory on the bottom, and moreover white killed all the agi with this attempt for an invasion. So it would be better if white just tried to reduce black from the top, and then one day used crosscut Tesuji. Then black's area would be much smaller. But in the game, it only grew larger and larger, and now there is not much chance for white to still win this game. White played on the top, but then black continued by putting pressure on the group on the right side. White needed to strengthen it. And then white continued his own plan to attack the group of black. Yes, probably this is the only chance of white to still see some hope in this game. But black saw a little bit of trouble and didn't want to give white any chance. So after white played a move, which was an attempt to very silently create a large web in which Black's group might eventually fall. Then Black realized the threat and just continued and created an eye shape for the group. And after this move of Black, White resigned because didn't see chance anymore to attack the group of Black. And point-wise, Black has two big advantage already after capturing White's group on the bottom. So this is it about this game. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.